Hello, you beautiful creatures. Today, you may be wondering why I have you here. Firstly, thank you for coming to psychology class, because today we're going to be baking cookies. Now, you may be wondering why baking cookies has any significance to our psychology class. And it's because we're not baking cookies today. I lied to you. I am a dirty, filthy liar. We're baking the temporal lobe, secretly hidden in the form of cookies. To do that, we have this slightly too old butter, which represents the senses. We have the flour, which represents the memory. We have sugar, which represents the emotions. Finally, we have language, which is obviously the main component of our temporal lobe cookies that are secretly just a temporal lobe. Now let's get into it.
The temporal lobe is located right behind the temple on each side of your head and extends along the side of your brain to a point just behind your ears. The temporal lobe is located right between the other three lobes and the cerebellum.
So the first thing you're going to add to your beautiful temporal lobe cookies is you're going to take your senses, which are sight, taste, smell, hearing, and touch, and plop them right into the bowl.
Next we have our emotions. The part of the brain that is associated with emotion processes in the temporal lobe is the amygdala. And the amygdala is part of the limbic system, which is also really important in emotion-related processes.
Next up, we're adding the memory. Now, the main part associated with memory in the temporal lobe is the hippocampus, which sounds exactly like hippopotamus, but actually means seahorse. Now, it's responsible for the retainment of short and long-term memory.
And last but not least, we have language, which is how I remember it is talking. It's just T for temporal lobe. There's a special part in the temporal lobe called the Wernicke's area, which helps you decide what words you're gonna pick for making the sentences that come out of your mouth, like I'm using right now. The language part of the temporal lobe is really important for survival because it helps you communicate, and it helps you communicate. Damage to the temporal lobe can result in difficulty understanding spoken words, difficulty in retaining long-term and short-term memory, difficulty in recognizing faces, emotional disturbance like aggressive behavior, and difficulty recognizing objects. In conclusion, temporal lobe is the lobe located right here. It is responsible for memory, emotions, senses, and language. Talking for temporal lobe. And lastly, damage to the temporal lobe can never result in good things. The damaged dough is now one giant cookie instead of multiple small cookies. So remember, folks, don't damage your temporal lobe. Have a good day. 3, 2, 1, go.
No.
The temporal lobe is...
Next up, we are adding the memory. Don't block my face.
In conclusion, and lastly, but definitely not leastly, is